All right, so we're now recording and I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go over to my, go back to my computer. We're going to go to Flex. So from here in Flex, let's shrink that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look for expired listings. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and do a quick search. Under quick search, I'm going to go into status and just go to expired. Go to my date range, and in my date range, I am going to change my date range back here, and I'm going to go back to 2018, and I'm going to make it go to 2018 to 2019. I'm going to do a year worth of expireds. So this automatically goes, way up. So we'll go to it. We'll take it a year back. Oh, that first one didn't change. All right, so February 1st, 19, and this one needed to change to February 1st of 18. All right, so there's 6,337 that expired that year. That's a lot. Let me flip over here real quick. I want to make sure that I'm not missing anybody. I can't see if there's anybody that's in a waiting room, so I apologize if I'm missing anybody and not getting them in. All right, shrink that back again. All right, so 6,337, that's a lot to try to market to. I want to whittle this down. So for me, what I just did this morning, I thought that's a pretty easy way to do this. I'm going to go ahead and drop this down a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I don't want to go with, personally right now, I'm not going to look for anything that is a so-called luxury listing. And in my zip code right here, 85018. So I only want to do under $800,000, and dwelling type, I'm going to only do single families. So single families at 85018, under $800,000 that expired between 2018 and 2019. So what's happened since 2018? Prices have gone up quite a bit in that amount of time, haven't they? So these people that had their house on the market at this amount of time, during this time, most likely their house has appreciated quite a bit since then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go look at it and go, okay, this one, let's take a look at, we're going to go look at the history, because we also don't want to be talking to anybody that is currently active, or maybe that they've just canceled in the last little bit here. So this one actually, they put it back on the market. They put it on at 350. It expired, and then it turned around and somebody else, it went back on the market again. Somebody flipped it and it sold in August of 2018 for $829,000. That's still not a bad one to contact, because even in the last 2 years, this property has probably increased in value quite a bit. So you can take a look at this one. This might be one that you want to keep on your list. Next one, go down to the next one. This one expired and it was listed at 375. It wasn't relisted again, so that would probably be one that I want to talk to. This one closed again in July of last year, so this one is off the list. We would not want this one, but we're gonna keep these first two, and we're just gonna keep going down the list. And like I said, there's only 24 of them on here, so it's a manageable one that we can look at. Okay, here's another one. This one closed in April of 20, so that's probably too soon to have done. This one was another one of those that apparently somebody bought and flipped it, and it worked for them. So we're going to continue to go down. This one active. This one is on the market, active right now. It's a rental property, so it is a rental property. That doesn't mean that the seller might not want to sell it, but you should not market to somebody who's got an active listing agreement, even if it's just a rental agreement with somebody else. Okay, so you've got another one. This one expired here, 18. They put it on again in 19, and it expired for 420. I would almost guarantee you that that price is going to be a workable price today. 2 years later, or a year, almost 2 years later, that price will have gotten up to a point where I think that one is actually sellable. So again, these are just, it doesn't mean that, yes, these are absolutely, great ones to market for, but you're eliminating the ones that you don't want to waste time trying to go after. So again, expired, canceled. This one expired and canceled again at 18. Okay, there's Tim. All right, welcome, Tim. Hopefully you are if you're on your phone, hopefully you can at least hear and follow what's going on if you're not able to catch it on the computer. So we're talking about expired listings, Tim. So what I'm doing is I went into the MLS and I just pulled back anything that expired between 2018 and 2019 in the 85018 zip code. That's not a luxury property. So we're going through them and taking a look in the MLS and seeing if it might be one that we want to talk to again. So again, this one, the last time it was on the market, it canceled in August of 2018, and it was on the market for $449. Again, that's probably one that the price has risen to the point where it's definitely would be in the price range now. Next one down doesn't even have a picture on it. That was because this one closed in 2018. Let's take a look at it. So it closed, it went on the market 409. So they changed price status, closed. So it did close for 4025. This might still be a good one. Maybe they bought it and maybe in 2 years, they're like, hey, we've seen, if you can show them that it's appreciated a bunch in value, they may be interested in selling. Or you could offer them the chance if this one needed to be upgraded. We can't tell because it doesn't have any pictures, but if you could see this one needed to be upgraded, maybe you could look them and throw the Apex program at them and say, hey, how would you like to realize the flip value of your house? All right, so we go down to the next one. This one closed in 19. Okay, that's been just about 2 years ago. So again, this one might be one that you want to keep on, that you want to take a look at. I'm going to take a peek at this one. We'll take a peek at the photos. 4135 East Catalina. Yeah, so this one had been redone. Man, can you believe the pictures? This is what an agent did for pictures to market that property. It's a shame. Okay, so that's this one. Let's see if I can just get back to this one. Okay, so that one might be one that you can talk to about it. It might, that's kind of a long shot. I think that one would be looking at possibly selling. Next one down, expired. 18, that one would be probably one that we're going to want to talk to for 489,000. I'm not going to go through the rest of these guys because that would take, too much time, but you can see what I'm doing here. You can see why that I would want to look at them, and you can see why I would want to eliminate the ones that I didn't want to go to. So now I'm going to go here and go to selected. Under my selected ones, you can do a couple of different things. You can look them up on your own and try to find their information so that you can get in touch with them. Because if you look in their monsoon, it gives you the person's name, but it doesn't give you any of their contact information. So you can do a couple of different things. If you want to walk the neighborhood, if you want to walk this area and drop off a packet, what would you drop off to them? Well, personally, what I do is I would do a neighborhood report. I would go into my VAC, do a quick little neighborhood report on the property. So from this one, let's see, what was the address on that one? It is 4119 East Cells. So we're going to go back to here. Now, go away. So we're going to do a quick neighborhood report. No. $41.19 cells is what we're going to call it. Click in here, and we're going to do 4119 East Cells in the address box, and I'm going to change it to within a half a mile. All right, it pulls up my address. So now I want to show anything that's happened in the last 90 days. We want to give them just a snapshot market report. anything that's also pending. So now how many do we have in there? 98. Oof, that's a lot. All right, so let's go back. We're going to change this back to a quarter mile. We want to keep this a little smaller. So we're also going to narrow this down a little bit and say that we only want property type, we only want residential, and we only want single families. Now, how many do we have in our account? Now we're down to 16. Okay, good. So we're going to go click OK. We're going to click preview. Oh, I got to put a contact in there. Well, I don't have a contact in here yet for this person, but if I wanted to, I could put their name in here, but you have to have an email address. So I'm just going to add myself into it as a contact. Now we're going to preview it. If you guys haven't gone in here and done any neighborhood reports, really it's pretty easy to get acclimated to it and figure out how to do these pretty quickly. Okay, so in here, average days on the market is 35 days. There's 4 current listings that are active. 1 is pending. There are 11 that have sold in the last 90 days because we did the 90 days. So 11 have sold in the last 90 days in here. So it gives you the information here. Look at the price point. What was the price point of this property when we look back in here? $350, and everything in that neighborhood that is is selling for between $934 and 1.1. So this is at the very bottom of what the price range would be on this. So you can kind of see, what the cheapest things that are going for. One's for $615. The cheapest thing in the neighborhood is $615. Cheapest thing in the neighborhood that is sold in the last 90 days is $599. So, and I would guarantee you that one for $599 it probably hasn't been completely redone. So that property, I think, is prime. If those people want to sell, who knows what their reasoning behind it was, but if they want to sell, they are a prime candidate that maybe they couldn't get $350 2 years ago when they had it on the market. But man, I tell you what, they could probably get close to double that right now if they wanted to put it on the market. So I would go back to this. I would print this off, print off the neighborhood report, and I would walk it over and deliver it to their house. So let's take a look at this again. If we go back into here, property address, mailing address is the same. So it's not an absentee owner. If it's an absentee owner, then I would probably mail it to them. But I also have their information. So now that I have their information, Colin and Caitlin Klattenoff. So I'm going to go to White Pages. This is their name. If you guys don't have a Premier membership with White Pages, it's $50 for the year. And with that Premier membership, you can do reverse prospecting. You can do, here it is. I spelled it wrong, but there he is. Used to live in Little Rock. Look at that phone number. I can pull up his phone number. Gives me his phone number. I've got his cell phone number. And there's another that's a landline, but you can tell it's not a landline because it's the same prefix. And 325 isn't an Arizona landline. So that is probably his cell phone number. So if you wanted to give him a phone call and talk to him about it, double check and make sure that it's not on the do not call registry. But then if it's not on the do not call registry, you can feel free to give him a call and talk to him and say, hey, use the expired script that we have and talk to him about their property. You can also, if you get his information and say, I've got a report that I'd love to send to you. Can I get your email? I'll send you a property report as to what's going on in your neighborhood. You can get his email, and then you can come back in here and you can change your property report in here. You can change your neighborhood report and add him as your contact that you want to send this to and send it out to him. Any questions on how to do that piece of it?
If you were doing walks, if you picked 5 or 6 of these and you wanted to go walk them,
yep.
What else would you put in the packet? You can get the You put the neighborhood report, you'd obviously include your card and all that. What else would you include?
What I would probably do, just as my little packet to start with, I wouldn't want to inundate them and, give them too much. So really, I really would want to put the neighborhood report. And if I put anything in there besides the neighborhood report, what I do is our 20 point marketing plan brochure that we have. Just throw your 20-point marketing plan in there, and that gives them a basic idea. These are the kind of things that I'm going to do to market your house. So neighborhood report and a marketing piece in there. And then if you wanted to put a little letter, a little handwritten note in there and that said, hey, I would love to talk to you about your property. That looks to me like you've seen a great appreciation in value lately. I'd love to talk to you about it. And then your phone number and your email address. Give them your contact info and leave it off with them. Does anybody have questions about this so far?
Question, Todd. This is Charlie.
Yes, Charlie.
Back up to, you went to VAC 2.0, and
Yep.
then where did you get the neighborhood report? I missed that.
Over here in marketing, if you go to marketing and then drop down here about 5 spaces down is neighborhood report. And that
Okay, I
takes
got,
right into
all
this.
right, got it. I missed that. Thank you.
Yep.
And also, you limited your search to 800,000 because you said you didn't want to be in luxury.
Yeah, I didn't want to deal with luxury, but right at this point, I mean, if that's what you want to do, if that's what your market is, and if you want to go with luxury, absolutely do it. I find probably though that if you're going to deal with luxury, it's a little harder, first of all, to get to that person, rather than you can get them by you can get them by phone, but it's harder to door knock. A lot of those luxury properties, they're in a community where it's hard to get to them. It's hard to get to their front door and to get a package dropped off to them. Mailing it to them would be perfect. Yeah, I mean, you can absolutely mail to the luxury clients. And if that's what you want to do, you can absolutely go to get a piece of, we've got, the 20-point marketing plan. We've also got a luxury marketing plan. So you can get that luxury marketing flyer and throw that in there with the neighborhood report and mail it off to them. Or if you can get to their front door to knock on the door and drop it off to them, that's great. It's always better to hand deliver. It's harder for people to say no and hang up on you if you're face to face. And you really have to be careful, guys, with your do not call list. You don't want to solicit to people that are on the do not call list.
Okay, and you said it's harder to get to the luxury ones, what, because they're gated, you mean?
A lot of times, yeah, they're either in a gated community or a guarded community, or in a place where it's harder to get to their front door.
Okay, and I've heard on previous various calls where people talked about luxury and saying that it's a specialty and it takes extra effort and cost and they're a pain to deal with. And what's your insight to that?
Repeat that again.
That they're the high end, it costs more for us to market them. They're generally a pain in the neck. Do you have a feeling about that or a sense about that?
It's what I've really found is that they're people. They're a lot like us, but usually they're in a position where their expectations are higher than somebody who you're dealing with in a $400,000 to $600,000 house. Somebody who's has a multi-million-dollar asset. Their expectations of you may be a bit higher. So if you're not really familiar with the luxury market, and if you're not really in touch with the luxury market, it's going to be hard for you to relate to them on a level that they're going to expect. So yeah, if you're after the luxury market, you need to kind of immerse yourself in that luxury market. You need to know who the players are in the luxury market as far as the agents, which I would highly recommend if you are not a member of the luxury tour, that you belong to the luxury tour, so that people can see your face and they'll recognize you. Patty Schmidt talks about it all the time, that in networking with people in the luxury market will get you so much farther. It'll open doors for you that you will never have open for you if you're not networking with those people.
Yeah,
It's
birds of a feather.
Yeah, it is, and it's almost like a popularity clique in back in high school, where the kids all hang around each other and you have your little cliques. that luxury, the luxury agents are almost a clique. You can get in on it once in a while if you're an outside person, but if you're in that clique, you're going to get a lot more business. You're going to have a lot more opportunities, and people share information a lot more if they know who you are in that community.
Sure. If you're one of their feathered friends.
Yep.
Do you think that starts at 800, 900? Where does that start?
It depends on your neighborhood. I mean, if you're looking at, if you're looking at Phoenix, like this area here, I think it starts at $1 million. I think if you're in Ahwatukee, it starts at about $700,000. If you're in Gilbert and Chandler, it probably starts at about 750, 700. It just depends on the area you're in as to where the luxury start, that dollar designation starts. There's, and I don't know where it's at right now, I'd have to look for it, but there is actually a document that we have put out, that our company has put out, that designates what a luxury property is in each section of town. So it will tell you what your dollar threshold is to put you in the luxury market based on where you're at.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yep. Anybody else out there have any questions? Okay, so if you don't want to belong, or if you don't want to pay $50 for the White Pages membership, I really have no problem, guys. You can see how long it took me to find phone numbers on this. Send me a list of the names and the address that you're looking for, and I can pull them. I can pull them either from the Kohl's Realty resource, or I can pull them from White Pages. And most of the time, I'll just pull them from White Pages because it's easier just to pull a 1 or 2 or 3 like that. But if you've got a list of a neighborhood and you want to know all the people in a neighborhood, just send me what the name of the subdivision is, or give me the parameters of, I want everything from 7th Street to 16th Street, Indian School to Camelback. And I can draw that on that map, and I can pull up every homeowner in there and give you their name, their address. And for those that are in Kohl's Realty Resource, I can get you their phone number and their email address. So that gives you a good starting point for people. All right. So back to expireds.
Hey, Todd, I have a question on this.
Yep.
So it says 0-weekly numbers search.
Yeah.
I normally do like a quick search. How did you get to this search?
This is my search. That I created this one, and I just do this when I call it weekly numbers. I call it because what it does for me is my weekly number search. It gives me I can do agent days on market as one of my criteria. I've created a little search, and then I saved it as a weekly, as I call it, weekly number search.
And you just numbered it 0, so it goes at the top. Okay.
Exactly. That's exactly why I put the 0 first, because I want it to.
So like, I don't have that. All right. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, when I named it, and I took a class on this from Jeffrey Raskin's, his instructor, the guy that he's got teaching for him now. His name's escaping me right now, but I took a class from him on how to create quick searches. So if you want to take a little class on it, I think he recorded. It's an online class that you can actually go to and watch a recording of. But it was very informative, and it taught me a whole bunch about this, how to manipulate my quick search here, because
I might do that. Jeff Raskin, you said?
Jeff Raskin, yep.
Okay.
And if you don't know who Jeffrey Raskin is, he's the tech guru for real estate agents. He's the one that he'll sell you a Surface Pro and completely set it up for you with everything you need for real estate. So he'll set it up with MLS, with Super eKey, with Transaction Desk. He'll set all that stuff up for you and have it ready to go. So when you buy it from him, all you do is you have a little tutorial class with him, and you're ready to go with your computer. I did that over almost 5 years ago with the Surface Pro that I still have. Best move I ever made. I love my Surface Pro. I still have it. Don't use it as much now that I'm not actually selling much anymore, but it comes in very handy. I love the Surface Pro. All right, so back into this again, guys, the reason that I went back to this, and it's an ultra competitive market out there right now as far as agents trying to get meeting will end in 10 minutes. Okay. No, we're not upgrading. Sorry. So, you know, like I said, the reason that I did that is because it's ultra competitive out there right now, and trying to think differently than what some of the other agents who are working expired are doing. And I love this idea. I can't remember where I heard this from, but I love this idea of going after older expireds, because the people calling the older expireds are minimal at this point. These people aren't getting bombed with phone calls. They're less likely to get irritated and hang up on you if you contact them, because it's probably been a year and a half since anybody's talked to them about their house expiring. And you never know, things may have changed drastically in their life, and they may be ready to be more realistic with pricing. And the way it looks right now, they're you know, maybe if they were reaching for price before, they're not going to be reaching to get that price now. Never hurts to go that route. All right, guys, anybody else have questions or comments that they want to bring up today? Don't go away yet, because I haven't taken roll. So hold on, I need to bring up my people again today. So I need to figure out who all has been online. So if you're not here, say aye. Amy, Sherry, Charlie, Jason. Is that it? That's who's left?
Huh. I know Charlie and Jason were on our other, I don't
Yeah,
know who
Jason
left.
Wolf is on this one again. He's here, but I don't see Farah, who was on earlier, and I don't see Tim, who I know Tim was on here briefly. So I'll give him credit for showing up.
Yeah. On that, did you say that your white pages is $50
Yeah, it's $50 for the year.
for the year?
Yeah.
Oh, I pay $29.95 a month for People
White
Finder.
Pages? Wow. $29.99 a month?
Yeah,
Wow.
20
Yeah,
a
I paid
month.
$50. It was $49.99 for the year or something like that. So it was like, yeah, for $50, I'm like, absolutely, I'll pay $50 for a year. That was.
Although I have to say, I get pretty good results with People Finder. I actually use 3 different products. I use Vortex for the first line, then I use Skip Tracer through Mojo for the second. And then if that doesn't work, especially with LLCs, a lot of times it doesn't.
Yeah.
Then I start going through People Finder. And
Yeah,
Finder
for LLCs, on White Pages, you can actually search for business. And if you search for the business name in the LLC, I've found that I'll pull those up a lot. I did one for John a couple of weeks ago where he was looking for an LLC, and he gave me the LLC. I pulled it up in the business section of that White Pages and was able to pull up what their address was and their information.
Yeah.
Todd, can you check my LLC and what information it comes up with?
Shite Pages.
I
I want to see how accurate White Pages are.
I was gonna say my People Finder actually tells you like lots of things that you probably don't need to know.
It's the LLC.
It's AZSP Holdings LLC.
Scottsdale.
Probably Phoenix.
Don't think it matters. I think it would pull it either way. It would pull it up and close by.
Okay.
Oh, didn't find you.
Wow.
The business.
Okay, so it's not very good at LLCs. Is that what you said?
Well, apparently it didn't find this one, but it did find the one for John. Because what I did is I pulled up the address of the property that he was looking for, and when I pulled it up, it said that there was because in here you can do a reverse address. So if you put an address in here, it will tell you who the owner of the property is, and I saw that it was an LLC. So then I was able to search that in the business. That's how I got their address and their phone number. And actually, that was for Dennis.
Okay.
Mine doesn't do it either, actually, Amy. Mine's
It's not finding you either.
no, only People. So what I normally do is I go to the Arizona Corporation Commission and then I find out who the managers or members are. And
Yeah.
then I put that information in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that doesn't have phone numbers on it.
What doesn't?
The Corporation Commission.
I
no,
know, but then you get the manager and the members and then you put them in there.
Oh, you put in the names.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, that's good.
yeah, sometimes you gotta be a little bit of a detective to try to figure out, get the contact information for some of these people, so.
Yeah, all my stocking is coming in to help.
All right,
Those are
I
great
am
people.
going to stop recording.